election nightmare in California on the news? Have you heard much of it about it?
I saw that they're blocking people from running or ballots, or they're trying to make it so it's not rigged.
Well, yeah, they're rigging it. So,
Well, it's being
um,
rigged, but they're
yeah,
I think Trump or somebody, someone in the higher ups, is trying really hard to make sure that that election does not get rigged.
yeah. Well, see, it's been going on forever. Like, it's the only. It's ridiculous. Like, to call it a third world election would be an insult to third world elections. I mean, it's just the most corrupt system in the world. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, it's unbelievable. Like, you just they keep on counting and counting for like a month.
Mm-hmm.
Like India has settles their elections in one day. I'm pretty sure Ethiopia does, but California,
Mm-hmm.
nah, no problem. And
Nope,
so it's just
they
like,
keep going on with the bullshit so they could bring in the people that nobody wants, right? All these
yeah,
people at a level are all corrupt. All these people in the end, they're bought and paid for somehow, somewhere. But at least give the people what they want. At least give them what they vote for. At least, right?
yeah,
They don't even give them
yeah.
that, even though they're all corrupt. It's
Uh,
crazy.
it's it's insane, and it ties in with the homeless industrial complex, like I've talked about. Just so for any people, the listeners out there, so like you have these like NGOs, non-government organizations, who they can get the social security number of homeless people, tell the government they're taking care of these homeless people, and then charge the government, say like $1,000 a month to take care of a homeless person, and then only spend like $100 on that homeless person, and then pocket the difference. And
Mm-hmm.
then these NGOs donate to the campaigns of Democrat politicians to make sure they keep the money coming in and don't investigate the NGOs scams. Like that's what's going on in Minnesota with the Somalis.
Oh, Minnesota. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they are these like the politicians are getting everybody's getting rich off of it, and then they block the politicians, the governors block any investigation. Like the governor in Minnesota literally blocked investigations of the Somali frauds.
And people keep asking me to comment on it. I mean, we covered this whole Somalian fraud thing when it broke,
Hmm.
but people keep asking, what is your opinion? My opinion is very simple. Why are these people from Somalia allowed to exist in America? They don't build anything. They don't fix anything.
Well, they vote Democrat.
Sure, but what I'm saying is, why are they even allowed to exist there?
They,
The country is falling and sinking
mhm,
economically, financially, all kinds, to bring in
mhm.
people to vote Democrat when they could fix the elections. It still doesn't
Yeah,
make sense
man.
to me. All these elections are rigged. Okay,
Yeah.
and why would they bring in again people that are not going to build, fix, repair? At least if they brought in people that are going to fix and maintain the continuity of the country, I wouldn't say anything. But you
Hmm.
bring in people that are going to blatantly create fraud, screw people over, commit murder, all kinds of stuff. So much crime. Like
Hmm.
it just doesn't make it doesn't because they could fix the election. It just makes no sense, buddy.
Yeah, and it's like it's part of the whole machine, like they so get this, like not only do these homeless people, can they you can get these NGOs get rich off of them, but they get them to register vote. So they actually want homeless people to be trucked in from the other parts of the country, have as many homeless people here in California as possible, get them to register to vote. And they can register anywhere, like on anywhere where they're camped out on the street. They say, okay, this is their address. Boom. You know what I mean? And so now and then they're paying them for their ballots. They're paying them to register to vote, and then they get their ballots and they vote in the socialist candidate. And so this lady, um, the socialist candidate for mayor of LA, Nithya Raman, she was like in dead last on
Is she
voting day.
even
Like
American?
no, she was born in India.
Yeah, this
That's
is
what's even
garbage.
more
This
disgusting,
is
man.
I think you know what? You guys in America have guns. I think you guys need to take your country back. I think it's time to take your country back. It's
That
getting
day's
too much
coming.
now. It's getting
It is.
way too much.
Yeah. There
Take
was a
that your founding fathers set up a constitution for you guys by the people for the people to protect that constitution, and that constitution protects your rights in your country from invaders, foreign and domestic. Remember?
hmm
And I'm a Portuguese guy living in Canada telling you this.
Yeah. Yeah, there
So
was a standoff today in Texas between like there was some Indian guy and he's like some Muslim actually. No, he might be Iraqi. I'm not sure, but he was like, I hate rednecks. I don't give a shit about veterans. I don't like this country. I don't like the military. I'm voting to change all of this. He's literally saying that, and he's like, and these guys are like chasing him off, like they were going to kick his
so he's
ass.
using your constitution
Hmm.
with his freedom of speech to say what he has to say.
Yep.
You see how that is? And he's not even an
Yeah.
American.
Yeah, you have there's several candidates, all, for office all across the country that weren't born here that are voting that are running on a pro-immigrant, anti-American
Yep.
campaign, and
Do
like
you?
and so that's the guy in New York, Zohran Mamdani, and so this lady, she's another Mamdani,
Mm-hmm.
and she is now, now they're saying, like, so now she's ahead of Spencer Pratt, who was the guy that was running on we're gonna clean up LA, get rid of the homeless and all this and that. She's now ahead of him. That's the scandal.
And
Like,
you know what
she
the
was
funny
dead
part
last.
is? You got another one in Boston, Michelle
Hmm.
Wu. No one likes you, Michelle Wu, that
Yep.
Chinese lady
Hmm.
that makes fun of white
Yeah.
people openly, and had a party, a party like a government party, like a Christmas party, and didn't invite no
Hmm.
white people to it.
Yep.
Like
I
it's
saw that.
Michelle Wu. No one likes you. It's like, yeah, this is really really bizarro shit happening in America, and we can't have America fall. We cannot. In being
I
me
know.
being in Canada, if America
Hmm.
falls to this shit,
Hmm.
if America goes
Yeah, we're
dark, we're
toast.
dead we're dead in Canada.
Yeah. Yeah.
We have to pack our bags and we have to leave with our clothes on our backs in Canada. That's how bad it's going to get here in Canada. If America, you cannot go dark. Don't give up your guns. Defend your constitution. You have foreign, too many foreign and domestic terrorists
Yeah.
in your country.
Yeah, the enemy within. I'm telling you, like you were talking about Henry Nowak and Charlie Kirk. Getting no sympathy from the left. Like, there's this really brilliant journalist. She's a former leftist, and I like to listen to smart, intellectual former leftists who are now on the right because who've woken up. Her name is Batia Ungar Sargon, and she has a good explanation about the left. Like, their mentality is like they see everything through the prism of the oppressor versus oppressed binary, and that anyone who is powerful, successful, or privileged in any way is a bad person and needs to be destroyed. And anyone who's weak, unsuccessful, or disadvantaged is not just a victim, but is virtuous and good. So, like, these guys know in their mentality that the Nowak and Kirk got what they deserved. They're Christian white men. They're privileged and powerful, so they need to be destroyed. That's why. That
Mm-hmm.
explains exactly why they're not they like they're not just they didn't just not get sympathy, but it's almost their deaths are celebrated
Mm-hmm.
because some Christian white men were killed. And that's great. Yay!
So you're killing the people that maintain and fix the country and that actually know how to run the country.
Well, they hate America. They want it all burned down. Anything, like I said, they despise power,
So they're not
success.
American then. An
Right. They
American, an American prides itself. A true American. I tried so hard, my friend, to be an American
uh-huh,
myself. I did
uh-huh,
all the paperwork. I made sure I wasn't stealing an American's job.
uh-huh,
$32,000 in a bank account, a place in my name. I had a corporation sponsor me. I had to make sure I had to run ads through a third party for 6 months to make sure I wasn't stealing an American's job. I got everything approved. I got my background check approved. Everything was fine. I went into one of the offices for my final approval to get
uh-huh,
a work. I didn't even want citizenship. I just wanted to work in America. And they just
uh-huh.
told me, we're not taking your kind now. You got 28 days to leave the country. They wrote something in my passport, and they said they're going to deport me in 20 days if I don't leave. So,
Yeah, sorry.
don't be sorry. It's just your country does have. The reason why I'm telling you this, Black Deplorable,
Uh-huh,
is because
uh-huh.
your country has laws in place to protect it from people like me from coming in.
Yep.
So they could use that against everybody else. Oh, you want to come to America? You got to run ads for 6 months to make sure you're not stealing an American's job. You need 32 grand American in a bank account. You need a place in your name. I had all that. You need a corporation to sponsor you first, and then you could do all the paperwork, and then you could proceed to try to become an American. You guys
Uh-huh,
have the laws. They're there for you guys, but they're not
uh-huh.
implementing on all the. So if everybody implemented the laws they did to me to become an American, your country wouldn't have a foreigner living in there right now. You wouldn't have an
Yeah, we need to
Indian, a
get rid of
Chinese.
this.
You wouldn't have nobody there if they did the same thing they did to me.
Yeah. Yeah, they don't want, just like they don't want Cubans coming because Cubans vote Republican. They only want
They're
they want
Catholic.
people coming. Yeah, but they want people coming, like certain Latin American countries tend to be more left wing socialist, like the
The Russian
Venezuelans,
friendly, the
obviously.
Russian friendly nations.
Yeah, but it's just like their mentality is so sick. Like they hate like hierarchy. Anything that leads to hierarchy and inequity is, and so they hate like objective truth, meritocracy, competition. Like, have you ever noticed a lot of leftists hate sports?
Yeah, I noticed that they don't want to. It's almost like they're ostracizing themselves from their own culture or their own people, and
Or like,
branding what our successes and our what we've accomplished as bad, as
yeah, but it's like
anti
they
anti
yeah,
humanity.
they hate sports and any kind of competition, because competition leads to hierarchy and any inequity, because there's going to be winners and losers, right?
Mm-hmm.
They hate that. They're obsessed with equality and equity, and so anything that will produce some kind of a hierarchy, or like a vertical, they're horizontal. Anything that produces vertical hierarchy, they're against. So that's
Mm-hmm.
why they hate beautiful people. They hate athletic people. They hate anything. So they just want to destroy everything and make everything and make us all 2 feet tall.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I just remember growing up, like, like so many of the people that were kind of ugly or unathletic, they grew up to be socialists. Like, these are the people. This is why, like, if you look at so many of these far left protesters, you know what I mean? They're hideous and obese and unathletic.
Yep. And they
It's
look kind of
funny.
deranged a bit too, like
Yeah,
weird.
yeah, yeah. You're weirdos. Like, they weren't the cool kids.
Mm-hmm.
And they had a deep resentment and hatred for the cool kids. You know what I mean? The popular kids. And it's funny. A lot of the people who can compete, who are smart, good looking, athletic, whatever. They tend to be more on the right.
Mm-hmm.
They like competition. They have no problem with hierarchy, because they believe that they can compete. So a lot of it makes sense. Like, if you but this is the war.
And
These are
you
the people
notice
that
the
are.
leftists, if you notice
Hmm.
a lot of the leftists, they all work
Hmm.
for the government.
Yep.
They all work in government jobs.
Yeah, they
They can't start their
despise.
own business because they'll fail in 2 weeks. They
Yep.
can't. If they take over my business, they'll be gone in 2 weeks. There's a
Yep.
lot of things they just can't do. But it's so funny
Hmm.
how they. Yeah, it's so weird. It's like, yeah, it's again there is terrorism in your country, domestic and foreign, right now as we speak.
Yeah, I mean, I see. Oh my God, these people are everywhere here in Oakland. Like, my neighborhood used to be like 90% black. Now it's like 90% white, but it's not the good kind of white people. It's these fucking, like, trust fund kid losers and woke shitheads. You know what I mean? Like, fat girls, obese white girls who wear masks everywhere. You know what I'm saying? They
They wear a
always have
mask.
yeah, like it's freaking April 2020. That's the
A
that's
mask because Fauci told them to. Okay, yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's part of their uniform, man. I'm telling you, it's like colored hair, being fat and ugly and unkempt, and then wearing a fucking mask. They wear masks everywhere. I saw a skinny, like, 22-year-old white kid the other day walking around with a face mask. Remember those plastic face masks?
Dude, hold on, stop. I saw it was a Chinese man driving a Mercedes the other day through my town. He was driving through the downtown, looking around. He was wearing a mask inside his car with the
Oh, I see
windows
that all the
rolled up.
time. I see it all the time. Yeah, but it's like, with these kids, though. I think it's some kind of statement. It's a signifier. You know what I mean? Like, it tells them that I'm part of this woke crowd. They got the nose rings and the colored hair, and they dress all weird, and they're like almost like intentionally ugly.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? They go out of their way to be as ugly as possible. And they make these ugly facial expressions, and they wear ugly glasses, like big old, like gigantic, like Bill Gates kind of glasses. It's like they're literally trying to be ugly, and it's like, if you show any sign that you're like good looking, oh, you're shallow, you're a right winger.
Mm-hmm.
That's how they think, man. And they're everywhere around here, man. And they hate capitalism, because so many of them grew up rich, man. I'm telling you, they grew up with a silver spoon in their mouths, and then they couldn't compete because they suck. They're losers. They
Mm-hmm.
suck at life,
Yep.
and so they blame it on capitalism. And
Yep.
yet
Oh
they're
yeah.
still taking money from, because it's just crazy. And they're just everywhere in Oakland and in Berkeley, this, San Francisco. I see these people on a daily basis. I can't fucking stand them, man. Oh God, man, you have
Black
no idea.
Deplorable on Mike in the Night.
I'm sorry, man. I'm
Woo!
ranting, man. But
You've been
it's just
watching. I know you watch old episodes of Mike in the Night. Have you caught any good ones? Any good old episodes?
Yeah, I was listening to a couple of conversations you had. Like, last week, Jackie was using that term, which she called it, generational living.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys were talking. She was talking basically like how, like, these immigrants, why they're able to, out um, compete a lot of the Canadian proper. It's because they they're rich essentially because they pool all their money together. Like I was talking to you a couple months ago about group economics, and this is why another reason why I think Canada and the United States want these people to come in is because together they're the way their lifestyle produces people that can afford a house. Single people are parent are two parent house two what do you call it, single families, can no longer they can't afford $2 million homes.
Yeah.
But 30 Indians who are willing to live together can.
Yeah, but then you see, but then it goes against the green. What about Greta Thunberg? We got to go green. Remember, we need to go green. So they have occupancy laws. 2 people per
Yeah.
bathroom. Remember my thing I keep bringing up. You have
Hmm.
4 people in a house. You need 2 bathrooms. You have 6 people. You need 3 bathrooms. You have 8 people. You need 4 bathrooms. What happened to occupancy laws? What happened to being green? Yeah, that got flushed down the toilet real quick in a heartbeat, eh? Just like the data
Hmm.
centers are taking up so much water. What happened to all the fresh drinking water? Oh, well, now what happened to global warming and climate change? That disappeared now that the data centers are here, right?
Hmm.
So we got a $5 super chat here. I've got a good one for you, Mike. I'm presently being investigated by the American military for my comments on your channel and other channels.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little scary, man. I gotta get this stuff off my chest. I don't care, man. At this
Mm-hmm.
point, man, fuck them. Um, but yeah, it's just I think like also like you're not allowed to criticize immigrants. So again, it goes back to this leftist mentality that so immigrants are good people no matter what. If they're raping, killing, stabbing,
Those are
all
migrants, dude. I'm an
or
immigrant.
migrants. I mean anybody
I'm an
that
immigrant.
comes.
I came from Portugal. My dad worked on the Skydome
I, I,
project in 86, 87. He
I,
worked on big projects in Canada. He worked on big bank
mhm,
towers. Maybe his son might work there one day. No, his son's not going to work in that tower one day. That's going to be
mhm.
for 400 Chinese people to bring over and work at the tower. And then after, white people will be outside the tower asking for money. That's how
Yeah,
Canada works. So
yeah.
the
That's
immigrants
a
came to
sick.
build this country. The migrants come to use it.
Yeah, that's the sickness of the left. Like I said, they outrank other people on the, like for example, like a white when a white you would think there would be sympathy for a white woman being raped or molested on a train in Toronto or Germany or someplace like that, right? But these migrants, these people of color, outrank her on the victim, what they call the progressive stack. They have more oppressed points, right, than
Mm-hmm.
a white woman. So migrants out have more power. It's like cards, right? You know what I mean? Like ace beats a whatever, king beats king, blah blah, all that stuff, right? And so these a migrant beats a feminist. Feminists will have or a woman, a white woman, because a white woman is privileged, especially if she's got money and is blonde hair, blue eyed, and all that. She doesn't. Nobody's going to have any sympathy for her. Their sympathy is for the migrant. So, like with Nowak, the sympathy is for the Sikh guy that stabbed him, not for the white guy.
But the question I go back to every time is, why is that guy even allowed to exist in that country? Why is he even there?
Because the
So,
left
but here,
wants
hold
them
on,
here.
hold on. I'm hoping that somebody in law or somebody that knows law really well could hear what I'm going to say here right now.
Hmm.
If that happened to my kid, what happened there in the UK, can't I fall back and then sue the Carney government in Canada for allowing this guy to come into our country and just basically kill one of my. I'm just saying, for an example, if someone's kid gets killed, okay, this is a
Hmm.
scenario.
Hmm.
Someone's kid gets killed like that from a migrant that shouldn't even be in the country in the first place. Is
Hmm.
there a way that a person could go back and just sue the government for letting him in? Because why is this guy? And then build a case asking, why is this guy in this country for in the first place? And they could build a case showing he has no this, he's not fixing nothing, he's got no job prospects, he's got no company sponsoring him, he's got no money in the bank. So they'll see like,
Hmm.
why is this guy even here
I
and
know.
killing people? I believe me. I believe that there's a way where you could go back and just sue the government for allowing these people into the country if something happens to your family. I believe me. I think
Hmm.
something's gonna come up. Something's gonna come of this.
Possibly, yeah. Let's hope, man. But yeah, the sympathy is for these killers. Like again, these are third world people who are victims of U.S. and Western imperialism. So they're good people, no matter what. And they're victims. It's not their fault that that it's the racism in Europe is that's driving them insane and making them want to do these things. That's what they'll say,
Yep.
you know. And so like that's the leftist mentality. That's what you're up against, man. It's the enemy within, man. Like they are the biggest. you know, the NIMBY, I would say NIMBY people and these communists, you know, these leftists, you know, because they look like if this lady wins in LA, we're gonna like both the two most important biggest population cities in America could have communists as mayors. This
Yep.
isn't are you serious?
So I made a short video describing or discussing a law needs to be put in place, and you need to be third generation to run for anything. For me, I
Hmm.
couldn't run for any level of politics in Canada because I'm Portuguese,
Hmm.
born, and but then my kids can't. My other grandkids can't, but my great grandkids, if they're still in Canada, could run. Third
Hmm.
generation. You have to be third generation to run for any politics and work for any government job in the country. I made a short about that, talking about how that needs to be done because the people are coming in and getting these government and getting these easy, nice, clean office jobs and running for office and getting these positions through all corrupted votes and stuff. And
Hmm.
yeah, this needs to stop.
I know
This
that.
as a Portuguese living in Canada, this country needs to stop what it's doing because it's game over here.
Yeah, yeah. 'Cause, I mean, there's a politician. I can't remember. She's from Georgia here in the United States. She's proposed a bill to make it so that you have to be born in America, at least be born in America to
Well,
run
at
for
least third
political office.
generation, at least third,
I mean,
because you
that'd be
can't
even
be.
better. But yeah.
Yeah, but you know what I mean, right? But at least third
Hmm.
generation. If it was third generation, Obama would have never been president. A lot of
Hmm.
these people would have never been president if it was third generation, right?
Yeah, yeah. Because yeah, because you have people who are openly anti-American,
Mm-hmm.
trying to get anti-British, you know, in UK, all over, trying to like they just want to get in these countries and then use the laws, the liberal laws, to destroy the company, you know, from within. And they're open about it, man. Like a lot of these Muslims, especially, man, they are openly saying this.
Mm-hmm.
We're taking over the Brotherhood in England. Yeah, they're trying to just do it legally, and they're getting sympathy. You know, the whole like red green alliance. You know, the communists are in favor of Muslims taking over anything that will destroy white culture, the West. They're in favor. That's their ally.
Mm-hmm. It's
It's
crazy.
insane.
All right, Black Deplorable. Any final words? We're gonna get more callers on tonight.
Let's see. Yeah, I can't really think of anything else. I was going to talk to you about a concept that I learned recently, but I'll save it for the next call.
Yep, call us back in a couple of weeks. Rewrite that concept a few times to make sense and flowchart it, and come back on the show in a couple of weeks. Okay, brother?
Hey. Okay.
God bless you, bud.
God bless you too.